Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Around the Town with Chuck. My name is Chuck Guglielmo, and we are recording today's show for the YouTube on Tuesday, March 24th. And we are here at the New Leaf Event Center. And I have the Sports Brain Trust with me today. Missing one, maybe he will come in a little bit later, but from the Gazette News, we have Byron Wessell. Byron, thanks for joining us. He's been on the show before. As has Mike Greco, the editor of the Sports at Ashtabula Star-Beacon.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
It's our favorite time of the year.
It is.
Baseball. But before we get to that, and we are going to talk a lot of Guardians, just a couple quick questions. Byron, you've been around all winter long watching the winter sports teams. Was there any special individual performance or special game that you saw this year in any of the sports, winter sports? Anything come to mind? Mike, you'll get that same thing.
5 seconds in my head.
Well, anybody can go first. I mean, if you already know, Mike, go ahead. But
I wasn't personally at the game, but
from the stories you've read,
clearly Grand Valley's run to the regional semis, first time in school history that happened. This is a team that had high expectations throughout the year. Mm-hmm. Last year they made it to the district final before losing, so they kind of took that next step with a relatively young team.
Justin's done a great job with them.
He has.
And the girls also did well.
Yeah,
there.
Girls went to the district semifinal. They didn't have any seniors either.
Oh boy!
So they should be primed to do some damage next year as well.
Yeah, so that stands out for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Byron, anything?
The last two games between Jefferson and Edgewood were both really intense games.
Really,
Edgewood,
all three of the games.
Yeah. Edgewood came back the second game from way down and came back. Jefferson ended up winning on the last second shot by DeZero, but that was a crazy game. The next one was just as crazy. Carter Turk scoring 1,000 in Grand Valley was a big deal.
Yeah, those three games, I think they all were under 10 points or less, weren't they?
Yeah.
All three of them.
Yeah.
Webster finishing third at state especially after losing to White like 3 times, so he ended up beating White from Madison the fourth time, so that was good for him, and White finished fourth, so that's good for him too, though.
Mm-hmm. Mike, I saw in the Star-Beacon yesterday about the Northeastern Athletic Conference expanding by 4 teams, I believe.
Yes.
And invitations were sent out to Ashtabula County. Are you a little bit surprised that the Conneaut Spartans didn't bite at that?
No, I think Chuck, they have their place in the CVC as far as being competitive, and now with the conference shifting divisions, they're in now with like Crestwood and Lutheran West, so the size of the schools are a little bit more comparable. Mm-hmm. I think they would have been one of the larger schools in the NAC.
The Spartans would have been?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Along with Grand Valley, Pymatuning Valley, I think Liberty and LeBray, they're all pretty much similar sized. I think Conneaut's pretty happy with where they are. Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand some of those teams, though, will not have football teams. Is
Correct.
that correct?
Only 5. Well, there's 5 schools that have football. Of the 4 coming in, 3 will have football. Liberty is not going to be in football in the NAC. They're just too large of a school, I think, for NAC folks to handle. So, the conference says it's about all sports, but we all know it's about football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think all conferences are dominated
by
football.
There was a lack of. There was five conference games in the NAC. I think they wanted to bump that up to, whatever 6.
I think that's good for the NAC.
Yes, absolutely.
They have a larger conference. What about you, Byron? What's your thoughts on no Ashtabula County team, particularly Conneaut? I look at to not bite on that.
I echo what Michael says. If it was up to me, I'm biased. I just want all Ashtabula in the old NEC again, and that's where that's just where I'm going to leave. I'm just going to leave it there because schools are going to do what they need to, what they think's best for them, and I honestly don't know the inner details of what they're going through, so I'm not going to say much on that. Other than I wish it was the NEC.
Mm-hmm. Spring sports, Mike, is underway.
Yep.
Thoughts?
Boy, I'm just getting back from vacation,
That's right.
and then basketball, the wrestling seasons. I would say Grand Valley baseball should be strong. St. John baseball should be strong.
Usually is.
Yeah, I mean, it's as Byron could probably attest to.
Jefferson's baseball is usually pretty strong too, right?
Yeah.
Byron?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about pitching. If you have one or two outstanding pitchers, that could take you far. And Grand Valley has the returning player of the year coming back in Peyton Plisga. And St. John has Jack Collins. He came in from Madison. He's supposed to be a really good pitcher too. So if you can get a little bit of hitting and good pitching, you can go pretty far. And then softball, Edgewood, Lucy Paolillo, two-time county player of the year. Once again, pitching kind of rules baseball and softball.
And Randy always does a good job with them.
Yeah,
Randy
he does.
Wessell. Byron, your thoughts on? You already gave me your thoughts on the softball. What about on the baseball front?
St. John for sure. Grand Valley, Jefferson should be decent. Edgewood has 13 seniors on the baseball team, so they should have a good program too. Geneva might be up and coming. I know they had to replace a lot from the year before last year, but they should be competitive. PV always manages to be competitive too, and
They do. You're right. You prepared. You got your winter coat, your boots, and your gloves for the spring sports. That's the only problem with spring sports until you get to about late April.
Yeah,
Sometimes even then.
Trying to figure out all these rain outs or
I feel
snow
sorry
outs
for
or-
ADs. They gotta keep reshuffling.
That's tough. That's a tough job in the spring.
Because they got to at least make up the conference games. I don't know about the non-conference games, but
I think only if they can.
Yeah.
And I've seen in the past. I've seen schools play after their tournament is over. I don't know, how viable that is anymore, but it has happened.
Well, we're here to talk about baseball because Major League Baseball is returning. I think the first game is tomorrow, but we've got our first game, Cleveland Guardians, on Thursday in Seattle. Byron, I'll start with you. Stephen Vogt, two-time manager of the year. Now, I don't know about you, but last year I've scratched my head quite a bit with him. Especially who was going to bat second in the lineup. It seemed like somebody else was batting second, but yet the man is manager of the year. Who's batting second this year?
I'd like to see Angel Martinez bat there, or even Chase DeLauder. Either of those, depending on the pitching matchup. But Martinez is a switch hitter, and he's put on some weight, and he's just a baseball player, and he's had a good spring. And I think he should get the crack at it, but he's probably more of a utility guy right now. But with Valeria hurt, I think he has a chance to play more right now early on.
You'd like to see Chase DeLauder in that too. The
We're batting
projected
in front
lineup
of
for Thursday
Jose.
has him there.
Okay, I'd take him there.
That's projection though.
Yeah, I hate playing matchup game, but the fact that Kwan's a lefty and DeLauder's a lefty is kind of worries me, but I think that's just overrated, especially when you have two professional hitters that are just hitters.
Mike, let's stay with Kwan for a minute. Nobody plays that wall in Cleveland better than he does.
Yeah.
Does it bother you at all that they may play him in center at times?
No, I don't think so. I think you put your best players where you feel they're going to be most useful, and I think Quan, he could play the ball in left, he can play it in center, he can play in right. He's just a natural defensive player with a great arm. So I think it's interesting what their thinking is, but with their versatility around the diamond, I don't think it'll be a big issue.
I prefer him in center.
You do prefer him at center? Okay, tell me why.
Opens up so many possibilities for Valeria, DeLauder, K-Fis.
Very true.
The corner spots are more important, I think. And Quan, it makes Quan, who's already great, even better if he bats 280 above from center field and 15 home runs, maybe possibly, and still adequate defense.
Very true. It opens up spots.
Yeah, that's the only thing I didn't think about. That's the only thing I think of, honestly.
Yeah, because if Quan's in left,
that's less at bats.
DeLauder, Valera were really not center fielders.
No.
DeLauder can definitely play center, but I do not want him to get hurt. I do not want him to play.
No, yeah.
He's very good at center fielder, actually, but I don't want him getting hurt.
Except for the playoff game.
Yeah,
last
the
year.
first game, but I heard that
he-
Larry Doby dropped the first
Yeah,
ball that he ever
that-
got
know
the center.
what
so
kind of career he
yeah,
had,
exactly.
right?
So
Yeah.
the Lauder's on.
Yeah, that was just kind of a fluke thing, I think.
Yeah, and then him and Sheeman had a little miscommunication last night. Sheeman didn't see the ball, and they kind of bumped into each other late last night. I got a little scared, but
You got to have that versatility,
Yeah.
Chuck, with guys
Yeah.
that can play
Yeah.
multiple positions.
And I think Volt's the kind of manager that loves versatility.
he does, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Okay, you guys are going to hit me over the top of the head. That's okay, I can take it. What about Quan batting second behind Martinez?
Interesting thought. I wouldn't have any problem with that. Juan handles the bat pretty well. With him, it's just getting more consistent. But he always starts strong and then tails off at the end, towards the end of the year. So with him, it's getting a little bit more consistency to handle that second position.
I was thinking too, because 8 times out of 10 he's going to make some kind of contact.
Yes, he is. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Then who would you lead off with? Martinez.
Angel Martinez.
Okay.
And he showed some signs of leading
Yeah.
off last year, doing okay. And there were times where he went in those slumps too. So, Byron?
I'm not against Quan batting second. It's just all about having a leadoff hitter capable of doing it. But the fact that Quan's just such a good hitter, you'd like to have him more opportunities to get runners in and just somebody actually in front of him to get in, because he's going to put in play.
So if Martinez is, if he's out, say he's out of the lineup, more of a utility guy, who's your leadoff hitter with that proposal?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question of who's going to take over that role.
Byron, I think you mentioned, or maybe it was you, Mike, that mentioned Daniel Schneemann.
Yeah.
He is a bigger asset than I think people give him credit for.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he bulked up a lot this year.
Infield,
Yeah,
outfield.
yeah, but you can play short, second. He's playing Jose got hurt, so he's playing third. He's play center field, left to right. Like, he literally can play any. I'm sure he can play first. I don't know if he's actually logged an inning there, but I'm sure he can play it. And yeah, just incredible.
I find him impressive in his utility role.
Absolutely.
Mike, what do you think about Daniel Schneemann?
Yeah, he's a great utility player, and I don't know if he surprises people with his power, but certainly last year he had some big home runs. I think Toronto, he had a
Grand Slam.
grand slam
Late.
Yeah,
I think he had 2 late game home runs in that
yeah.
one.
So he definitely is an up and comer, and like you said, he's done a good job.
I think he has done a tremendous job. Mike, do you think that Volt, now that he's been manager 2 times in a row, do you think he gets the most out of Little? Would you describe him as that?
I would say that, yes. I mean, no one in the world thought they were going to come back last year in December, except for them probably.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, he has what it takes to get the most out of his talent. Before it was Tito who did that well. But now I think Vogt he's got that magic touch for whatever reason.
Let's hope it's 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Byron, do you think that Volt is able to get that across because he's not all that long removed from playing himself?
So I'm against the grain on this. I think Vogt knows a lot about baseball and he's a good coach and everything, but I really put it all on the players themselves, and just these are hungry players that are playing for contracts, playing for playing time. Mm-hmm. The platoon game, it is what it is. I'm actually against the platoon game. I want players. Baseball needs to be played every day by the players.
You're looking for consistency.
Yeah, and these young players need to play every day, see what they got, because we got tons more in waiting to get their time too. And the pitching did it. Like, if you want to vote for the pitching staff just having an unbelievable run, then you give that credit to him. But I just think it's the players working hard, grinding players, that we don't have any egos or superstars on this team, and I think they deserve credit more than Vogt. Vogt knows baseball and he's a good manager, but I don't think he's the reason we're winning games.
I'm going to give that pitching credit to Carl Willis.
Yeah, exactly.
One
Yeah,
of the best in the game. Yeah.
Mhm.
I would think that if he left, I'd
Yeah.
be a little bit worried.
Well, there's a think about last year with the whole Clase and Ortiz mess.
Yes.
And then
It's like they didn't miss a beat.
Cade comes in
Yeah.
and does a good job in a difficult role. He's got a bunch of relievers that really no one's heard of. After Williams and Bybee, once again, not a well-known pitching staff. So yeah, they maximize their talent. Absolutely.
During the off season, they didn't make anything blockbuster. But Mike, do you think that they are counting heavily on their internal improvements?
Yeah, I think that's their formula. I think it's going to be that way for a long time, unless something or a player that they really want comes available. But I think this is going to be the way it is with Cleveland. Whether the fans like it or not, that's beside the point.
Right.
They have their plan. They're going to stick to it,
It's working.
and it's working.
Yeah.
And I know fans may grumble about they don't spend money, whatever, but what they've done works, and I would trust their management over a lot of teams' management.
Oh, absolutely.
They know they can identify talent, and then the coaching staff works with them.
And Byron, you mentioned a lot of these prospects. Do you think any of them are ready to graduate to the AAA that have not been selected to play? I mean, to the varsity that have not been picked yet, like a Bazana,
Yeah,
for instance,
well-
or a what's that first baseman there, that Ralphie something,
Ralphie Velasquez.
Yeah.
and Brito. Are they ready, or
No,
are you graduating them? Let's put it that way.
Bazana's ready, but he's not gonna start. He's probably gonna not be up here till June if we're lucky before that. But
Now, why do you say that?
team manipulation with his contract? They want that extra 7th year, so they're not gonna.
Okay.
They're not gonna start his clock. And and usually I would say it's definitely the Indians' fault that they're not starting clock, but he has not proven for a fact that he deserves it, so they're gonna manipulate it until he actually forces their hand. But they want to see what they got with Arias and Rocchio before they bring up Bazana. But Bazana should be on the roster right now, but he's not going to be. I think he's ready. DeLauder's ready, obviously. I don't know if you're counting him because he only played one playoff game last year, so it's basically like his fresh start. But I think he's ready. Velasquez isn't ready, but he's a stud. He is a stud.
Looks like he's going to be a Jose Ramirez to me.
The ball sounds different off of his bat. Like the crack off of his bat is just crazy. Who else?
He's nowhere near ready, but Violette.
Chase Violette. Yeah.
He's gonna be a good one. That's
Yeah, I
What
like
about
him.
that catcher?
Cooper Engel.
Is it Engel?
He's
Yeah.
not ready, but he's not doing the best right now. But I think he'll be fine in AAA, and he'll get ready. I think he's a possibility late. In middle of the season, I think he's a possibility.
Brian, we saw Brian Rocchio play a little bit of second base, and from what I saw, I thought I liked it. I liked him playing second base. I liked that Arias strong throw from short, and I like the defense of Rocchio at second. What do you think?
I like Rocchio at second because he's just a really good shortstop. So I think a really good shortstop can play second base pretty easily. And I do like Arias' arm at short, and it's better. But Arias has like 5 or 6 errors in spring training. I know it's spring
Who does?
training. Arias has.
Oh.
He's not.
Did not know that.
He is a good shortstop and he has a good arm, but he's struggling defensively in spring training to me. But I think he's the best bet at shortstop right now, and Rocchio's the best option at second. And whoever, Bazana's probably going to take second, so it's between Rocchio and Arias, which one wants to step up and be a full-time starter still.
Now, Rocchio's proven to me that he can hit in the postseason too,
Yeah.
where Arias has not. Mike, what are your thoughts on Rocchio at second?
Yeah, I like Rocchio there, and Arias at short. Although I'm a little on the fence with Arias. I mean,
With his bat or
with his-
in the field?
both.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty.
He's got power.
He's inconsistent though.
Yeah, very inconsistent.
But let me ask you guys a question. You know how in other sports rookies make an impact in football and
Yes.
basketball? why is that not the case in baseball? That rookies make such an impact.
Byron, why is that not the
rookies don't make
Yeah.
such an
Right away.
right away? It's just it's the most difficult sport to hit in baseball.
Yeah,
like,
it
it's
is.
crazy. Like
I mean, if Bazana is
ready.
ready, why
Yeah.
isn't he playing second
Like
base?
a Whit, they
Yeah.
brought Whit, or Kansas City
Yeah.
brought, what's his name, Whit,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Bazana needs to be, and that's another thing. Like I don't want to go too far in the weeds with this, but the Lauder 2 years ago, 2024 spring training, 25 at plate appearances, hit 4 homers, batted .520, and that's in 2024. I think he should have been with the big league team with our training staff, and I don't think these players should get hurt as often if they were up in the big leagues, because it's just not the same. The quality of care and the regiment is just not the same. And DeLauder needs to be up here. I think Bazana should be up here, and Valera, but he's already hurt. But he's got a lot of potential too.
Yeah, I like those bats.
Yeah, it stinks that they're all left-handed. Like almost all of them are left-handed.
Well, here's a right-handed bat for you, David Fry. Now he can play in the field. Now I think he can play in the field this year, right?
Yeah.
But he's got to hit a little bit better, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, where do you see him fitting in here? Because he can catch.
Yeah. Once again,
He can even play the outfield at times, can't he?
another utility guy, a good veteran to have on the bench. Fortunately, he's back from that gruesome injury last year. But yeah, like you said, Chuck, he's a little inconsistent with his hitting, but he's a good veteran to have on the team. They need people like him, of course, and Jose. Even Hedges, who can't hit his way out of his paper bag for most of the time, but they need guys like that on the team.
I didn't want Fry back last year or this year, but now that he is on the team, I think he can hit lefties still. I think he's going to be he can actually play catcher this year, which is going to be huge. He has a good arm, and he's got just a good defensive catcher. He can play some outfield. I don't think they want to do that too much, but if he hits lefties once in a while, I'll take that. But I think he's just another Austin Hedges, so have him be Austin Hedges, and have Hedges, as much as I love him, as much as my sister loves him, let Hedges just coach.
Well, yeah, that's why he should transition to coaching.
Yeah.
Hedges is a likable guy.
He
You can
is.
see where
He is.
Stephanie's
He really
coming
is.
from.
Stephanie
really
loves him. I love
Very
him,
likable guy.
yeah.
So he should be a coach with the team.
Yeah.
He just may end up being one.
And
I think he loves Cleveland.
he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he
He
does.
really
yeah.
does love Cleveland. Kyle Manzardo, he's projected to start at first base tomorrow night. Are you afraid of his defense, Mike, at all?
Yeah, at times. I went to a game last year. I think he had 3 errors.
In one game, yeah.
against Toronto, which could have been just a fluke, but his
He doesn't seem to bend down.
his defense is
good enough to
a little scary at times. But you need his bat in
You
there.
do.
So you got to kind of
We got about 5 designated hitters right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Hoskins could even be. His defense isn't all that much better at first.
right. Yeah.
But
So
he's got a good right-handed bat.
yeah. So it's a matter of finding a capable first baseman.
Yeah, and C.J. Kapus, I think you mentioned him.
Yeah.
Does he make this team? Now with Valera out, he might make the team.
Yeah, it's possible.
That's
Yeah.
tough. I don't want him to make the team.
You do not want him
I
to.
love K. I like Kafis a lot.
Because he's a left-handed?
Well, I just think he needs more time in AAA because I don't think he's proven that he's a capable hitter. And I don't think there's enough open room to get enough playing time for it to have him up. I don't think it's worth having him up because he's not going to get enough at bats. And I think he can develop better as a player in AAA and then be the next one up. Because even Valeria, when he gets healthy, he's going to need a little bit more time. So if somebody's struggling early on, Kafis can come up, but he'll be getting solid at bats in AAA. I like him a lot. As far as Manzaro's defense, he is not a good defensive first baseman, but I'm not worried about him playing first base because of it, though. I think just playing it every day, he'll naturally get better. But if you want to play Hoskins more first, I'd play Hoskins at first. I think they both should be playing.
Yeah, I want both bats in there.
85% of the 85% of the game time. I think both of them should be playing, unless it's a really tough lefty or you just want to give Manzardo a break.
Yeah, I want
think they
both
should both
bats
be
in that lineup.
They
They
need
have
to
to
both
be.
in.
Yeah.
They have to be in that lineup.
Yep.
Maybe they could just trade off playing first
Yeah,
base. and
I think they
the
should.
other
I
one
think
be
that's what they
DH.
should do. Yeah, they need to give Jose like a once a week DH, or maybe once every 2 weeks at DH or something. DeLauder needs a DH once in a while, but yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, I think Hoskins, veteran,
Injured a bit last year.
Yeah, injured. Didn't have a great year with Milwaukee, but still, he's one of those guys. Once again, is a good veteran to have. Play him at first base. Obviously, Manzardo is going to get the bulk of the time there, and I think what Byron said is right. His glove is decent enough to be okay. It's a matter of his hitting, whether he can once again get more consistent with his hitting. With him, so I got no problem with him at first.
When spring training started, there was some talk that Vogt and the Guardians would go to a 6-man starting rotation, but now with Logan Allen being set down, it looks like they're going to stay with the 5: Bybee, Williams, Ciccone, Messick, and Cantillo.
Mm-hmm.
Can that 5, Byron, in your estimation, get 52 wins?
Yeah.
Do they need to get 52 wins?
So that's a tough thing. I don't really look at starting pitchers' win-loss records, because you could be an amazing pitcher and not get the win. You can be a horrible pitcher and still get credited with the win. I think as long as they average around close to 5 2/3 to 6 innings and 6.5 maybe for Williams and Bybee, if they just average those innings and the bullpen puts up zeros, as long as the team gets a win, I don't care if the starter gets the win. Mm-hmm. But I think they're all capable. I think every single one of those, I know this might sound like crazy, but I think every one of those
10.
is capable of 50. I think everyone's capable of 15.
15 wins.
15. They're capable. They're capable
I'm
of
winning the division
they're
there.
I'm not saying they're all going to get 15. I just think any of those pitchers can get 15 wins. I think if they pitch 30 starts.
Really?
I don't think they're going.
No, but I mean, you think they can.
I think they have. Yeah.
I'm winning the division. I'm winning
No.
it handily.
No, I just think they have the stuff to get to pitch that effectively.
It seems hard for pitchers to even get to 15 wins
I
now,
know.
though.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, even the good ones struggle to get that. Mike, what do you think? Do you think those 5 starters? Let me mention Ciccone and Messick. They pitched pretty well last year.
They did, yeah.
But we know how the league can make adjustments.
Yep.
Do you see them pitching just as well, or do you think the league is going to catch up a little bit?
I can see them pitching, just as well. I'll agree slightly with Byron here. I think 10. They each are capable of 10 to 15 wins. But like we talked about,
That's kind of
Carl.
what I have, 13, 15,
Carl,
13.
has a magic touch too with his pitching staff. So I think if teams make adjustments, and the Guardians will make adjustments as well.
It's a game of adjustments,
Yep.
isn't it?
And I want Williams or Bybee to step up this year to be that number one. That not a Scooble type as far as you give him the ball in game 5 of a division series or whatever, and they're going to go out there and dominate. I want one of those two to take over that reign this year and give the Guardians a dominant number 1.
Mm-hmm. Cantillo, Byron, probably has the best stuff of the 5.
No, I think Gavin. I think Gavin Williams has
You were
the
a
best
Gavin
stuff.
fan.
Yeah,
I
Gavin
am
has
too.
the best. And I'd even say Tanner next, but Tanner's just he needs to trust himself more, I think, and that's what Gavin's problem was too. And Gavin started to trust himself late in the season last year, and I think Bybee just needs to go back to that. Cantillo has good stuff though, and he just needs to harness it too. But they're just all really good pitchers that feed off of each other and Willis and learn from each other. I think Cleveland just has a long history of starting pitchers all helping out each other and all learning from each other.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Byron as far as them getting 5 and 6 innings. and then turn it over to the bullpen, which, you never know about bullpens, but
year to year,
but they certainly have the makings of being one of the better teams with a bullpen this year.
Especially when Hunter comes back.
Yes, yep.
I like Sobrowski.
Yeah.
Sounded great.
And I think Armstrong's going to be a big help.
Yep, we had him once before.
Yeah, we did. It wasn't very good the first time we
very
had
good
him,
the
but it
first
turned out
time.
to be good, didn't
I'm
it?
on the
Right.
fence with Armstrong, but yeah.
Left-hander or right-hander?
He's a righty.
Righty.
And then Cade, with a full, knowing his role this year,
Yeah, knowing that he's going to
knowing
start
his
as
start
the answer.
and stay there, that should help him out.
Hedges Naylor. Let's talk a little bit about Bo Naylor now. For some reason, I thought this was going to be the case last year. I'm going to say it again this year. I think he's having a breakout year. I think he's going to have a little bit more power. I think he could hit 20 home runs if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Which, of course, he wants to, but I mean,
Yeah.
I just think he can. But he's got to hit at least
Yeah.
230.
Yeah.
He's shortened up his swing this year, which is really good, and he just needs to stay within himself, and he'll be fine. I don't think he's gonna have a breakout year, but I think he's finally gonna be a productive major league catcher.
Byron, if he hits 230, that's a
That
breakout.
is if he hits 230, 18 home runs.
That's
I'll
a
take
breakout
that.
year.
I'll take that. I'll
Yes.
take that easily. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh boy, okay, let's see what else I have for you. Okay, you guys are saying the starter's 5 innings. I've got it here 6+ innings.
I wish. But
I have 6+ innings because I'm thinking Gaddis isn't going to be ready yet.
Yeah.
Just to save on the bullpen a little bit for when those hot summer days come.
I think
What do you think,
Gavin and Tanner can give you probably 6, 7. The other 3 is kind of going to be a
yeah.
question mark. They potentially can, but
I think Slade's working his way up there to be a quality pitcher and inning eater. And I mean, Park and Cantillo to me are they're inexperienced, but they got the stuff. But it's going to take them.
Yeah.
They're going to nibble and run their pitch count up
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But they got
But
good
the
stuff.
walks, too.
Yeah.
Cantillo can walk some people,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Well, so can Bybee. Bybee can walk, or is it
Yeah.
Williams? One of those two.
All of them nibble. All of them
Yeah,
nibble too
and
much.
and you're right, that raises the pitch count up. 5 innings would be good.
Yeah.
6 innings would be better.
yes, absolutely.
I think so. A pitcher we haven't talked about that I thought did very well, especially down the stretch last year, Matt Festa.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah, he's a journeyman guy who
Byron don't like him.
No.
he's a
Go on,
journeyman
Mike.
guy who somehow has survived in the league for multiple years.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't wow you with any particular pitch. He's not real, fast, but he manages to get outs.
Is he one of those bridge
And-
fillers that's Brian talking about
Yeah,
to get
absolutely.
to get to the
Yeah,
back
I
end
mean,
of the bullpen?
I wouldn't say he's an everyday type of guy, but yeah, we could put him in there.
Him and Armstrong both, I think, could be bridge fillers.
Yeah.
Is Kobe Allard returning?
He's the last spot. He's
yeah.
in a battle between like
Allard.
Peyton Pillette,
Yeah, that's
Allard,
right.
couple, and I think one more. But as far as
All right, what don't you like about Matt
Matt Festa, no, it's just an inside joke that everybody hated on him. It was like every time he came out, all the fans in the stadium would make fun of him and stuff. And he turned into a
I
decent,
thought he secretly, silently got it done.
Yeah, he's like the new Brian Shaw, I think, is who he is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a setup man, particularly. I think he's more when we're like losing by a run or something like that than a true setup reliever. But I think from the way he started last year and the way he got made fun of with my friends, at least, I think he's definitely turned it on and gotten better. And he's relievers are year to year, but he's a quality reliever to
He
have
was
right
comfortable
now.
when he
He
was in.
He was third on the team in
Yeah.
appearances last year,
He's
Is that
such a
right?
Brian Shaw,
which you wouldn't have thought.
I felt comfortable with him coming in.
He'll come in any situation.
Plus, he's
probably,
going to buy an espresso machine for the dugout. So
that's always good. Yeah.
Like I said, Vogt was manager 2 times in a row, but I still found myself scratching my head, like I said, over that number 2. And another thing, in a tight game, he would let Hedges bat in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
yes, yeah.
I can't do that, Byron.
No, I can't either. No.
Why is he doing it? Now I'm questioning a manager of the year here. Why does he do that?
I'm not sure.
Is it for defensive? He can't take him out because of the defense?
It might be defense. It might be they're worried about who they'll have there if somebody gets hurt. I don't know.
I take my chances with Bo Naylor.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he seems like the type of manager that when he sits somebody, he sits them.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
for example, Naylor, the catching position, unless it's really, really dire
Give him
or
that
important,
off, yeah.
he sets them down for the day and says,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mike and Bo Naylor hit fifth in the lineup.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah,
He did a couple
I think
times
he,
last
he
year.
once again he needs to show that consistency. Not necessarily hit 20 home runs, but that would be nice, of course. But just getting hits, driving runners in. So yeah, potentially he could.
I had DeLauder hitting fifth. Now you like him hitting second, don't you?
I think Byron. I agree with Byron. His second would be good for him.
And I just don't think Naylor needs to bat 5. I think Quan, DeLauder, Jose, Manzardo or Hoskins, depending on what pitcher, and then you're already at 6 there.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be a 6.
You got a point there. Yep. Let's see here. Who on the Cleveland Guardians besides Jose Ramirez, Mike, is irreplaceable in your mind?
Ooh, boy, that's a tough one. I'd say Quan, just because
I got him.
of his defense and just in his leadoff ability. These guys like Energizer Bunny never stops and always seems to make the right play. I know he does have errors and so on and so forth, but most of the time he always seems to make the right play.
Somebody was telling me they wanted to play Quan in center field in case they have a poor first 3 months and that the other teams out there may see that he can also play center field. Are you buying into that theory at all? If they wanted to make a trade?
I don't see that. I don't see that being a scenario. I just think they want to utilize him, to the best. And I wish they would sign him to an extension.
Yeah, I wish they would sign him.
Personally, but I don't have.
Do you think he wants to play for Cleveland or stay in Cleveland?
I think so. I think he's comfortable here. He's been here a few years now, and
Byron, what do you think?
I think that Quan is willing to play center field because it will help his standings and
His resume.
His resume, get
Yeah.
paid money. If he can prove that he can play center, because center's a real commodity to have nowadays. To be honest, there's not a lot of true center fielders anymore.
Up the middle defense,
yeah.
they say.
Yeah, I think he does love Cleveland. I think he'll be fine if he living in Seattle or Los Angeles if he goes in either of those teams. But I think there is some merit to. I don't know if the Guardians care about it adding to his trade value, but I think Kwan's aware of it and that he wants to show that he can play center. Because if he didn't, I don't think he would move to center field if it didn't matter to him. I think he would. He's already proven that he's a Gold Glover 4 times at left. Why make that transition when you're going into a payday unless it's to up your how much money you get?
Mike, can this current roster hit 160 to 175 home runs?
I think that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough to do.
I got 2 guys on here that I think can hit 60 combined, Ramirez and Manzardo. Would
Yeah,
you say that?
that's potential. Yeah.
Martinez and Quan capable of hitting 15, 12 to 15?
I think that's a little high
High?
for Quan.
Yeah,
But Martinez he's shown he can.
depends how much playing time he gets.
Yeah,
but
I mean, DeLauder, he could hit 10 to 15. Bo could hit 10 to 15, potentially. And even Brocchio or an Arias can hit occasionally a bomb.
But do you think it's a little high?
I think
Byron?
it's a little high.
So
What did he hit last year?
I'm not sure, but I don't want to quote exactly. But I thought we have like 48 or something home runs in 30 spring training games this year. And I know it's spring training; the ball's been carrying. It's a little bit shorter fields out there, but I mean we're showing some pop in spring training. And like I said, it's spring training. But I think our power numbers are going to go up a little bit this year for sure. I think the Manzardo, Sheeman, couple others. They're like 15 pounds heavier with muscle this year.
Yeah, and they're all capable of hitting 10 to 15,
yeah.
I would think. Mike, we haven't talked about this bullpen pitcher yet. Great year 2 years ago, not so much last year. Tim Herron, he's vital.
Yes, he is. We talked about,
Struggled with his control.
Yeah, we talked about adjustments. I think hitters adjusted to his style more so last year, and like you said, struggled with control. So yeah, he's
vital. Left-hander.
He's vital. If Sobrowski is that lefty, I think if Herron, doesn't cut the mustard, I think we have Sobrowski can do that role. But yeah, we certainly need Herron to get back to form.
You agree with that, Byron?
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of arm fatigue, and I think hitters did adjust to him, and I think he'll bounce back. I really do.
Boy, that would be such a pleasant surprise, or not surprise, because we know he can do it.
Yeah.
Andrew Walters is going to start injured. What's the matter with him, Byron? I must have missed something here. Did he have off-season surgery or something?
I don't know. I've known that he's been hurt, and that's pretty much all I know. I don't know.
Mike, do you know anything about that?
I'm not sure what happened with him, no.
So what do you think in general for the Cleveland Guardians as far as the Central Division goes this year? Now, Kansas City is looking very impressive to me. Byron doesn't think so.
No, they do. They do.
I mean, they've got some big hitters in there. Now that Caglione guy to go along with what's
Witt,
that? The first baseman's name?
And
Witt, and they got some pretty good starting pitching. I don't know so much about the bullpen, but
I don't.
they scare me. They scare me more than the Tigers do.
Okay, well, Detroit scares me the most for sure. I think it's really hard because I'm really optimistic about the Guardians this year. I think they have a lot of potential. Great pitching staff, great relievers. I think they finally have major league capable hitters in the lineup, even though they're young. I think they're actual major league hitters right now. But Detroit's really good, and Kansas City is really young and hungry and up and coming. So Guardians could easily finish third in the division and still have a good team. That's just rough.
Is that where you're going to put them?
We'll get to there later. I don't. It's hard.
Mike, what do you see in that Central Division?
Obviously Detroit and Kansas City are probably the teams to beat on paper. I can't discount the Guardians just because of the past, of what they've been able to accomplish. Every year they're projected to finish third, fourth, whatever. Third, of course. But I can't discount what they can do. I'm not saying they're going to win a division or even make the playoffs, but I wouldn't count them out either.
Three things, Byron, the Guardians have to do to win that division. Three things.
To win the division. Cy Young pitcher.
Okay, I could see one of those top two starters getting that.
If Williams or Bybee finishes in the top 5 in Cy Young, I think that has to happen. One of those. Rhys Hoskins needs to be good, which I think he's capable of.
I think he's going to be good.
I'm really high on Rhys Hoskins. He had a great 2 months last year. Then he did struggle for like a month, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
But I think he wants to prove. I think he can hit 30 home runs too, honestly.
Easily.
So
I don't know about easily, but he could.
Well, he could hit 30 home runs. So if Rhys Hoskins does good, and if one of the rookies, DeLauder, Rosanna, or Valeria, one of those becomes like a permanent full-time starter, like 270 or something like that.
What Rhys Hoskins might find out, though, as far as home runs go, that in April, in that ballpark, that ball does not carry.
I don't think he needs help though. If he puts the bat on the ball, I don't think he needs help because he has another level to his power too. Like he's just a power hitter.
Mike, what has to happen for the Guardians to go on top?
Agreed.
Three things.
Agreed with the dominant number one from Gavin or Tanner. Manzardo filling that role as a number 5 hitter and playing a solid, better first base, and Cade, if he can be a dominant closer. I think those are the three things.
And health too. I'd
Yes.
say health.
Oh, yeah, that
I'd
is.
say health.
Mike, the ABS system, you got to see some of that in the spring training, I'm sure. I like it. Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it too. I think it's a new wrinkle to baseball, and I think it'll prove to be a good thing.
The home plate umpire.
You think it should be more than two, though?
No.
Is two enough?
Yeah,
Yeah,
two's
yeah,
enough,
two's
because you
enough.
keep them if
Yeah.
you keep winning it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like say early in the game, you have one call. You only have one for the whole rest of the game.
Well, if you get it right,
Yeah, but if you get it wrong,
yeah,
I'm
then
talking
you
about-
have one.
The only thing is,
Can't stop the game too much.
I don't want the game to slow down
Yeah.
like other sports.
Plus,
where,
they'll still have those other, what is it? They get one challenge for everything else, or is it two? Baseball. I think it may be two.
I
I
think
think
you're
it's
right.
two. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the NBA, I think, where you... No, they get two.
It's just that sports nowadays. It seems, I know you want to get it right, but
Yeah.
sports is just like dragging on.
It
now
is real
because-
quick, though.
It
because
is.
of-
It's a. I think
It's
it's
like
the
within
quickest one.
seconds,
They're like,
yeah.
if it touches, it's a strike.
Yeah,
it's
that-
fast.
That is good.
It's fast. Like they're basically still in the batter's box, and they're like, okay, it's. They say what it is.
How embarrassing is it for the home plate umpire, though?
I felt it is embarrassing, and I do think of that a lot actually.
I wonder if it'll force some of them to
Yeah.
retire.
yeah, maybe.
I'm a strong proponent. I just want to get it right, but baseball, like
right.
he was hinting at, like baseball is just like all sports. It's just the nuances of it makes it what it is. I just want the call to get right, but as a pitcher myself, if I get a call, if I hit my spot and it's off the plate by an inch, but the umpire calls it a strike because that's where I wanted the ball, exactly where I wanted it. And then it gets overturned. I don't like that. Even I was a hitter too, and it's the same way for them. But
The thing I don't
Yeah.
understand is the strike zone, as far as I know, is still knee to chest.
I know what you're going to say.
And-
Every umpire has their own strike
Yeah.
zone.
Why?
I know. I
Why
don't
is that?
understand.
Why is that? What does that
I-
mean even?
I could never figure that
I mean,
out.
the rules are the rules.
yeah,
Calling by the rules.
I know. I can never figure that out.
I don't
as a
understand
pitcher
it.
though, I like if you hit your spot. I think I like getting the benefit of the doubt as a pitcher if you hit your spot but I like what's funny though is they remeasured. Everybody officially got measured height wise in the MLB this year for the first time ever. So Bo Naylor went from 6 foot to 5'9", and so Jose's listed at 5'7". So they actually measured everybody for real.
I did not know
Aaron,
that.
Aaron
I
Judge
know
is
that.
still 6'7". Like Jose
I know that.
Altuve is 5'6". Like they officially measured everybody for the strike zone for the thing,
okay. That's a
and
good
so they only did the outliers of like people that went from like
guess I
three
never heard
inches.
that.
Yeah, they just now did it.
That's
Wow.
Yeah, and I kind of like Pizzana being so compact and small. Like I think having that short zone
lower,
is so
yeah.
good. That's why Altuve is so good. It's because you got to pitch to a zone. Like
Yeah,
everything's
yeah.
everything's a hot zone.
Nolan Jones to Columbus, Byron.
Super excited about it. I
Will he stay there, or will he go somewhere else?
I think he has to stay there because that's
Yeah.
the only way he gets his $2 million. If
Yeah.
somebody wants to take his $2 million, then that's fine with me.
Is that what he's making?
Yeah, $2 million.
Yeah.
I want him to have a productive career. I'll always root for him if he's on the team, and even if he's not on the team, I'll root for him. But he just hasn't shown plate discipline, or he's just too in his head right now.
I was exciting at the beginning of last year when they picked him
I
up.
Absolutely.
wasn't, but him or Fry, I didn't want either of them. But
I liked getting Jones too, but
Because didn't he hit like 30 homers out in Denver one year?
yeah, well, that's Denver.
Yeah.
But I was excited too. But I mean, you gotta do it on the field.
Will Brennan's departure, Mike, how'd that hit you?
It was a non-issue for me. I mean, he's a capable player certainly, but we have a million Will Brennans on the
Where
team.
did he end up in?
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
So-
Byron?
I
Will
like him
Brennan?
as a person, as a hitter. But I think he looks like a baseball player, but I'm not at all affected by it.
You guys all remember Lonnie Chisadol?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I like
absolutely.
Lonnie. Lonnie
Yeah.
is
Does Chase DeLaterre look a lot like him?
Yeah,
No, looks a lot better.
Well, I mean,
a lot better.
look-wise.
Hey, Lonnie had 9 RBIs
I like
in the
Lonnie.
game.
I think
He did.
I
in
think-
Texas.
I think Lonnie's in a class way above Brennan and Nolan Jones. I like Lonnie Chisenhall had a solid
Yeah,
little
he did.
short year for us. I
Solid.
think
Never
he had
got
it.
credit, though, did he?
He never got
No,
credit.
fans,
he really
Yeah.
didn't. Nope.
We really didn't
Well,
get that.
him and
You need somebody to pick on.
him
all the
and
time,
the center fielder messed the ball in the World Series.
Center fielder.
Who was that?
Who was that center
Against the
fielder?
Cubs.
It wasn't Dave. I don't know who was that.
Well, yeah, and that really kind of was beginning the end for him, I think.
Well, back into our division for a minute. We talked about the Guardians, the Tigers, and the Royals. What about the White Sox and the Twins?
I think the White Sox are young and they got talent, but
They're not going to lose 100 again, are
no,
they?
they're not going to lose 100. They're going to battle for fourth place. Minnesota has more talent, but Minnesota's just a wreck. I think they don't. So I think Minnesota has a little bit more talent, but I think Chicago can finally get out of the cellar and actually. And the funny thing is I can't name a lot of names, but there's like 10 or so players on major league teams right now that the White Sox gave up on that are actually decent
Doing
ball
pretty
players.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the first 10 games for the Cleveland Guardians against the Mariners, the Dodgers, and the
Yep,
Cubs.
that's a tough way to start.
5-5.
Yeah, I think
That would be like,
you're hoping for
that's a miracle
5
to
and
me.
5. Yeah,
When you're playing that group of teams.
yeah, that's a tough. That's a tough start, but that 5 and 5 would be good. Baseball obviously is such a long season that the first 10 games aren't going to determine
Yep.
the season, but you still want to start off.
Well, we found that out last year.
Relatively.
Being 15 games back.
Yeah,
out
you want
late.
to start off relatively good, and like what the road trip is 7 games. It's like
Yep.
3 and 4, 4 and 3 type would be. I think
Yeah.
would be good.
2-2 in Seattle and get one in LA.
Yeah, I think from a mental aspect, getting 1 or 2 in LA would be huge.
You're going to the home opener.
Yeah.
Are you, Mike?
Yes,
You're going to the home opener. You're Catholic.
I am.
You can't have a hot dog.
Yeah,
Cleveland Diocese says no way.
I'll talk to the big guy myself and see what happens.
I think that's the third time that's happened to them where the home opener has been on a Good Friday.
Usually it's waived for that, but
Yeah, but not this year.
not
He didn't
this
do
year.
it.
No,
Really?
no.
No.
That's
He
interesting.
says, no. I heard they got fish sandwiches over there.
Yeah, well, he's a White Sox fan, so
Oh, yeah.
it's probably in Chicago. You probably can.
Oh, that's good. Okay, prediction time, Mike. Who wins the American League East?
Detroit
East?
East.
Yeah,
Oh,
East.
um,
Come on, Mike.
wrong
No,
division. I think the Yankees come back this year and win the East.
Baltimore's going to be improved.
Yeah.
You think the Yankees overtake Toronto this year?
Yes, I think.
I agree with that.
Last year was perfect storm for Toronto.
Yeah,
They got
agree.
hot at the right time, and
I think the Yankees are going to win that division. But what do you think, Byron? American League East?
Yeah, I think the Yankees. I think Toronto's up there, obviously,
Yeah.
and Baltimore's up there, but Baltimore has a lot more to prove.
Pete Alonso now with the Orioles.
Yeah, they got hitters, but
Matter of their pitching.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, before we go on to the other divisions, I forgot about Byron. Atlanta Braves. You're an Atlanta Braves fan too.
Yeah.
Guardians are there in April, I think.
Are
they not?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
I thought they were.
Yeah,
Are
they're in
they
Atlanta.
there in
Yeah,
April? Yeah, early
Maybe
in the
I'll,
year.
maybe I'll look at going.
So what do you go? No, it's down there.
Yeah, I mean that's maybe
Oh,
I'll look at going.
Now I
We'll see.
forgot. Tell me again why you're a Braves fan.
Oh, I have my family lives there. My uncle Jack lives there, and when I was like 2 years old, they'd sent me the tomahawk. They sent me little mini bats. They'd send me Atlanta Braves stuff, and they were on TBS every single day.
Yes.
And I just watched baseball. I watched the Indians. I watched the Cubs. I watched the White Sox. I watched the Braves. I actually liked the Guardians and the Braves. Just watched the Cubs and White Sox because I love baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But TBS and my family, and the fact that. Right, I liked them in '89 when they were really bad, but then they took off. The '90s were just a super team with pitching, which I love pitching. They had Maddox and Glavine, Smoltz and Avery, so I just really love Braves.
So when they play each other, you can't lose.
No, I can't lose, but I I don't even want to talk about
Yeah,
it.
you still got to root for Cleveland.
I wanted the Guardians to win in '95, even though to be honest, I was probably a bigger Braves fan in '95, but I still wanted the Guardians to win in '95.
Yankees in the East, who in the Central, Brian?
Detroit.
Detroit,
I guess
Detroit.
you know my pick.
Who in the West?
I'm gonna say Seattle.
Seattle.
Okay, I'm going Yankees, I'm going Guardians,
Okay.
and I'm going Seattle as well. How about National League East?
Probably the Mets.
Mets,
Phillies.
Yeah, they're up there.
Phillies,
I think it's Mets, Phillies, then Braves, sadly. But yeah.
Central,
Cubs.
Cubs.
and West.
Um,
I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a no-brainer.
the Dodgers for sure, but
I'm going Dodgers, but I'm going Brewers,
Okay.
and I'm
Okay.
going to go.
Okay,
I'm going
Brewers.
Braves.
okay.
I think the Braves are going to bounce back.
Yeah, I'm hoping, but
Yeah, and then wild card. I'm thinking two coming out of the East: Phillies and Mets.
yeah.
And then the American League, I think two are coming out of our division:
Yeah,
Tigers
I
and
agree.
Royals.
Yeah, it's
And then
tough.
the
Yeah.
Dodgers and Yankees in the World Series. You see anything different there, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, that's the, yeah, probably. I hope not, but
well.
that's probably gonna happen. I just don't, like the big
Yeah, I don't
teams in there who can just buy World Series championships. But that's beside the point there.
One final high school question, and then we'll wrap this up. This year, I was able to see 4 games this year where they had boy-girl doubleheader night instead of JV. I loved it. I would like to hear your thoughts
I
on that.
agree, totally agree with that.
I love it. I
Nobody
would
seems
love
to
it.
want to watch the JV. Well, like football, they don't have the JV the same night as varsity. It's the
Yep.
following day, right?
Mhm.
What do you
Yeah.
think, Byron? Do you like the boy-girl varsity doubleheader?
I do. I would like it a lot. I like the wrestling matches during the middle of the day sometimes. I just like switching it up and making it more enjoyable for the fans and even the student body.
And if they had more of those boy-girl varsity doubleheaders, it doesn't have to be that the girls start first. They could rotate that.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike? Do you
Agreed.
like a boy-girl varsity doubleheader?
Absolutely, I think it would draw more fans in.
And wouldn't it be
Yeah.
a little cheaper for transportation from the
Cheaper.
schools?
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
on the parent side, now I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to start one at like 6 and the other one right after, probably.
Yeah.
Which could be an issue for parents and fans to get there. However, some of these schools don't even have JV teams.
Yeah, or they play 2 quarters
Like St. John,
sometimes.
for example, they didn't have a JV team, so all their games were at 6 this year, the girls. So, I think it's fine.
I just don't want to take anything away from the JV players and the parents of the JV players, but at
They
the
could
same
have their
time,
separate.
yeah,
night.
they can have
They could
their
have a
separate
boy-girl
night.
JV
Yeah.
game just like a varsity.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
I mean, 7th and 8th grade freshmen, they all play different nights. So, yeah, it's basically the same thing. Only the difference is you're sometimes pulling JV kids onto your varsity roster, but you just have them there.
I just wonder about gym availability for all
Yeah.
for all those games, though. That's another thing. Would be another headache for athletic administrators
Yeah,
with
definitely.
their schedules, because
Yeah.
you know. Thank you, Mike Greco,
Thank you.
for your input today. Sports editor of the Star-Beacon, and thank you to Byron Wessell of the Gazette Newspapers, who does a great job for being on the show.
Thanks again,
for
Chuck.
having me. Yep.
All today on Around the Town with Chuck.